Hey everyone, a very warm welcome back to the channel. Today we are starting with a very important chapter, matrices and determinants, and this is going to be the very first question from that chapter. Of course, this is a part of algebra and quite an important one. So let us have a look at the question itself. Here we are given that A is the matrix such that its general I comma jth term is equal to minus 1 power I into 2i square plus 1 upon 4j power 4 plus 1. Then we have to find the limit n tends to infinity of trace of a power n whole power 1 by n. The maximum time allotted for this question would be 15 minutes, and ideally you should try to do it within 6 minutes. So you can pause the video, give the question a try, and then return back to have a look at the solution. So I hope you all have tried. Now let's see how the question can be done. So the answer first of all to this question would be half, minus half, and concepts involved would be whenever we have C as a product of two matrices A and B, A into B, so Cij is given as summation of Aik into Bkj, K ranging from 1 to n, right? And we are obviously assuming that A and B are conformable matrices. So basically number of columns in A is equal to number of rows in B, which we have assumed to be n. Also, another property we should be aware of, the trace of A is simply the sum of diagonal elements. So this one we have written here, and trace of mu A is equal to mu times trace A, where mu is a scalar. Very basic property we should be aware of. Now, solution let us discuss. So first let us consider a matrix P, which is equal to A square, which means A into A. So obviously by definition of matrix multiplication, Pij would be equal to summation k equals to 1 to n Aik into Akj, right? But we can say that Aij is equal to f of I into g of j, where f of I can be taken as this function minus 1 power I into 2i square plus 1, and gj can be taken as this function 1 upon 4 j power 4 plus 1. Because obviously if you multiply them out, you are going to get Aij as this thing, right? So easily we have written in this form. Now what we are saying is, so Pij becomes, now look, Aik I have written as Fi into Gk, because that's what I have assumed Aij's general form as. So instead of J I have written K, and Akj similarly would be, I would be replaced by K, as simple as that. So Fk into Gj, that's what Akj becomes. Now the thing is that Fi and Gj are independent of the index K, so they can be taken outside the summation. Inside we will be left with Fk into Gk. Obviously this is Aij, so Aij I have written, and this is Akk, right? Easily you can see, if you put both I and J as K in this formula, you will get Fk into Gk. So Fk into Gk I have replaced by Akk. K is equal to 1 to n. But this is exactly the trace. This is the definition of trace, right? Sum of diagonal elements. So Aij into trace A it becomes. So P would become lambda into A. Lambda is trace only, right? This number I am calling as lambda. Trace of A we have called lambda. Why is this so? Because this is due to the definition of scalar multiplication, right? Because if we have a, if we are having a matrix which we are defining as lambda A, lambda being a scalar, then obviously its general term is given by lambda into Aij, just like it is happening with P. So that's the reason why P will have to be equal to lambda into A due to the definition of scalar multiplication. Obviously, their orders are also equal, n by n and n by n, because order of A square will obviously be n by n only. So that's the reason we have been able to take P is equal to lambda into A, lambda being the trace. Now what I'm doing is I have just substituted in the value of P, which was A square, is equal to lambda A as it is. Now what I'm doing is I'm multiplying both sides by A. Okay. Now A into A square gives us A cube, but A into A gives us A square. Lambda was already there, so it will continue to stay here. A square I have now written as lambda A, because we have already derived that now. A square is lambda A. So I have substituted now lambda A square as lambda A. So lambda into lambda becomes lambda square, and the remaining A is there. So similarly, going again and again, multiplying by A again and again, we will get A power n would be equal to lambda power n minus 1 into A. Easily we can observe. Now you take trace both the sides. So on taking trace both sides, this is acting as a constant, as a scalar constant. So it will come out due to this property that we saw, mu property. So this comes outside, and inside we are left with trace of A. But this is lambda, right? So lambda power n minus 1 into lambda will become lambda power n. So in this relation, raising both sides to the power 1 by n, I get trace of A power n whole power 1 by n is equal to lambda, but lambda is nothing but trace of A. So L, which was equal to the limit n tends to infinity, simply now becomes n tends to infinity of this particular quantity becomes limit n tends to infinity of trace of A, because these two are equal. So I have replaced it by trace of A. But trace of A was what? Sum of A k is equal to 1 to n. The thing is that now what I'll do is I'll substitute the value of this particular value. You know, AKK is obviously going to be this quantity because we are given Aij is equal to this. So you put I and j both k. So that expression we have written down here. And this limit n tends to infinity, I've directly replaced n by infinity because obviously that's what it represents. Summation up till infinity. Now 4k power 4, easily you can observe, we can write as 2k square whole square plus 1 square plus 2 into 2k square into 1 minus 4k square, because both of these will anyway get cancelled. So this is correct. Now this entire thing becomes 2k square plus 1 whole square, and this becomes 2k whole square. So this square minus this square we have factorized as a plus b into a minus b, right? Now returning back to the limit becomes minus 1 power k as it is, 2k square plus 1 as it is, and the denominator we have written as factorized 1. Okay, now multiply both sides by 2. So 2l would be equal to, now observe what I have done. This will become actually 4k square plus 2, right? And this quantity is also becoming 4k plus 2 only, because 2k and 2k will anyway get cancelled, and 2k square plus 2k square is 4k square, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So it is correct to write the way that I have written. Basically the sum of the denominators is 4k square plus 2. That's what I have written. Now I have broken this up. How have I broken this up? Let us try to understand. So whenever we have a plus b upon ab, obviously it can be written as 1 upon a plus 1 upon b. So that's what's happening here. If this is a, this is b, then in the numerator we were having minus 1 power k into a plus b. So that's what I've written as a plus 1 upon a plus 1 upon b due to this thing. And then I'm opening this up, minus 1 power k upon a plus minus 1 power k upon b. But what I'm doing is now I am changing the plus into minus because minus 1 into minus 1 will again give us plus only. Now this is minus 1 power 1. So I will just add this power, right, to make it k plus 1. So that is exactly what we have done. And that's how we have gotten minus 1 power k upon a minus 1 minus 1 power k plus 1 upon b, just like this, where a and b were these two denominator terms. Clearly, if this is vk, this is vk plus 1. The reason is k has been replaced by k plus 1, right? This also you can write it as 2k into k minus 1. So if you replace k by k plus 1, it should have become 2k plus 1 into k plus 1 minus 1, which will be k. And that is exactly the term here also. Okay, so that's the reason why these are terms that will make the series telescope. And when you find the telescoping sum, all terms will be cancelled except v1 minus v infinity. Obviously, if you put the value of k as 1, v1 will come out to be minus 1, and as k tends to infinity, it will obviously become plus or minus 1 upon infinity, which is 0. So finite term upon infinity is going to be 0. The reason it becomes in 0 is minus 1 power k. You can write like this, k square you take common, minus 2 upon k plus 1 by k square. Clearly, when you try to find v infinity, this thing will tend to 0, right? And 2 minus 0 is 2. This will be plus or minus 1, but this will be infinity. So 2 into infinity is infinity, 1 upon plus minus 1 upon infinity is again 0. So that's why we have gotten this. So 2l was equal to minus 1. So l comes out to be minus half, which is our final answer. So I really hope I was able to explain this well and you all were able to understand the underlying concept. Thank you all for watching the video till the end, and make sure you like the video, comment down below what you would like to see next, and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you all in the next one.